Your power goes out, remember just how inconvenient your life can be. No lights, no refrigeration, no heating or cooling, no electronics. But with a Generac home standby generator, you'll have power when you need it. Our Generac generators automatically provide backup power after sensing a power outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Get a free 10-year warranty with the purchase of any air-cooled generator. Call Generac Generators today. Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live Plus. Brought to you by Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
How you doing, everybody? It is 7:30 on Wednesday evening. I'm Tampa Bay 28 Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. Welcome to Dennis Phillips Live. We are pretty much everywhere out there. We are on the spot tonight on Channel 17 on Spectrum, and we're 23 on Frontier. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on pretty much most of the places where all the cool kids are. That's where we are today. And we're going to have a really interesting show tonight because, yes, we're going to be talking about the rain. And look, I know y'all are probably tired of hearing about the drought. Trust me on this. We're probably every bit as tired talking about it as you all are hearing it. I mean, these are the numbers right here. I mean, you look at it, we are in a drought, and we've been in a drought for quite a while. And the one thing I was telling people is, look, it took us almost a year to get here, so it's going to take quite a while to get us out of here, unless, of course, we happen to see something tropical develop in the Gulf. And, you know, it happens. Matter of fact, it happens more frequently in the month of May or June than it would in any other time in the hurricane season, because what can often happen late May, early June, you get low pressure that forms in the Gulf because the Gulf is warm. Now, what a winter it's been for us, where we started out so cold and we had some of the coldest weather and the coldest temperatures we've ever seen, and the Gulf was 10, 15 degrees below average, and then all of a sudden, a month later, it's 10 degrees above average. So we're already in the mid-70s in the Gulf. And by the time May rolls around, you know, we haven't had a named storm in the month of May in a while, but it's certainly possible, as warm as that Gulf is going to be, that we could see one. And I was going to talk about this coming up later. So my buddy Mike Boylan over at Mike's Weather Page, he sent me a text today because AccuWeather came out today with their 2026. It isn't a forecast per se, but it paints the areas that are the highest risk. And because an El Nino is coming, two things usually happen. One, we see fewer hurricanes and tropical storms develop, with good reason, because when an El Nino forms, and by the way, it's probably not going to get going until maybe late August, September, October, but when we see an El Nino form, it creates really volatile upper level winds. In other words, how can a system develop when you have these winds cutting the top off of anything trying to develop? The answer is you don't usually see them develop, at least not in the Atlantic. So where do you see things develop? Where the water's the warmest. Where is the water the warmest? In the Northern Caribbean and in the Gulf. So you're going to hear a ton of stories and hype and whatever saying, oh, it's an El Nino, we're not going to have this, we're going to have this. It's all a bunch of hooey, because the accuracy on this stuff, y'all know, is not all that great. But what is important to remember is even though the numbers may be lower, I think it is a pretty high likelihood whatever does develop could easily develop in the Gulf. And my point is, in the month of May or June, you're not going to see a strong storm, but you could very well get a big rainmaker. And those big rainmakers are exactly what we need here to bust a drought, right? So you've heard of busted a move. This is bust a drought. And we need that. And I think, and by the way, back in the, no, I never could bust a move. I tried my best, but I couldn't. But, well, like I said, what we need to get rid of this is some serious prolonged rain. So look, we're going to take a look at radar right now, and there is some rain out there. Yeah, there is. Matter of fact, Manatee and Sarasota County picking up some decent storms, and there was even a shower over around Pinellas, around the Caroline area, and Feather Sound. Here, I'll go ahead and just zoom into this so you can see it. South Tampa had it too. Now, I know I heard rain on the roof of our building a little while ago, and I was like, but I didn't see anything on radar, but yep, there it was. So we did have about a 2-minute shower, but there's the rain that moved through South Tampa, and there's actually another area right over on Rocky Point, boom, right there, that's also popping. So there might still be a couple of showers in Pinellas County and Hillsborough County, but obviously the larger area of rain is in Manatee, is in Sarasota, Hardy DeSoto, and Highlands County, and that's all moving down to the south. So again, zoom in right there. That's what's happening right this minute. The Howard Franklin, the east side of the bridge, picking up some pretty heavy rain. Over on the east side, right around, what was it, Whiskey Joe's, I think, used to be over there on the east side of the Courtney Campbell. That's some rain falling right there. And then you've got that rain over on Shore Acres, but moving down south, much more. So tomorrow, the way this plays out, guys, is we're still going to have some residual moisture. This is not magical summertime rain. This is a remnant front just kind of lingering down south. And because of that, there's enough moisture for some showers to develop. So we're upper 70s to low 80s right now after highs in the mid 80s. It's kind of funny because Plant City was reporting a high of like 66 earlier on, but now it's 81. So that whatever was wrong has now been fixed. 85 Tampa, 84 Lakeland, 87 today in St. Pete. We're 82, looking out over Ray J with winds out of the northeast at 5 miles. A nice view there from our Feeding Tampa Bay cam. Tom's over there like, yeah, that's it. There it is, 85 the high today. The morning low dropped down to 66. There's a look at the rain. Let's look at Futurecast. Tonight, whatever's out there will be long gone by about 10:30. Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up to warm, dry conditions, no rain. So notice, this is like in the summer. Have you ever noticed around the Oldsmar area around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the top of the bay, you might see a quick shower. It happens all the time. Tomorrow, models are seeing a similar setup. So there could be one or two of those clouds dumping some rain in that area around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But whatever does pop will be mostly inland later on. And boy, that's just a taste of summertime weather. Speaking of summertime heat, though, Friday and Saturday, check these out. These numbers, highs in the upper 80s to near 90 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we got a front coming in. It's not going to do anything more than bring us the chance of maybe a quick shower and a brief cool down. When I say brief, I mean brief. We're talking 1 day. And then we're right back up again to the mid to upper 80s for most of next week. So there's your forecast tonight. A few lingering showers. Temperatures dropping into the mid 60s tomorrow. The beach, good day tomorrow at the beach. Water temperature in the mid to upper 70s. Air temperature in the mid to upper 70s as well. There's the 7-day, 83 on Thursday, 85 on Friday. I'll be live tomorrow at Thunder Alley, by the way, over at Benchmark. So if you get a chance, if you're going to the Bolts game, definitely come over and say hi. And if you just want to go hang out, say hi. You can watch the game on the big screen. We'll be there through DPL. So tomorrow night, DPL will be live at Thunder Alley. And then on Saturday and Sunday, Saturday we're up near 90. Sunday we got a couple of showers. And then next week we are back with more sunshine and more heat. Quickly, I'll go ahead and show you some of the models. We're kind of jumping through everything because we want to talk to Thomas Mance over at Feeding Tampa Bay coming up in the next couple of segments. So there's a look at the models, and it just has that look of a summer pattern. You get those east to west winds, bringing some showers from the east coast to the west coast, but unfortunately the bulk of them will be I-4 southward. If you live in Citrus, Hernando, Pasco, you're not going to see a lot. This, however, is early next week, Monday. last day of March. You know, we might see an easterly flow setting up, so there could be a little bit better chance of kind of a taste of summer, but those rain chances are only about 10%. And looking at the long range, here it is. You look for that 540 line, my friends. The cold weather, there is no 540 line anywhere to be seen. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, I said, guys, we're done with it. You can plant. You're not going to have to worry about any more cold weather, any more freezes, because it is over. And yes, it is over. And so is this first segment. But we'll be back in 90 seconds, and we're going to be answering your questions. We're going to be talking with the folks from Feeding Tampa Bay. That is Dennis Phillips Live continues. We'll see you back in 90 seconds. All right. Thomas, coming over here, and we are still streaming. Mindy just had lightning hit the pond behind your house. Wow. Well, we got to tell me where you live, Mindy. So everybody, y'all know Thomas. Everybody, this is
nice to see you all again.
You know what? I want to have our TV up. You're good.
Oh.
The TV is not on, and I'd like to know for a fact that we're actually on television.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, you know, it's always good to check just to make sure. There we go. And there we are. So let's see. Input 2. So we should be in a commercial. Ah, good. We're in a commercial. It's all good. All right.
Hi, Sherry. Hi, Jody.
All right. So what do we got here? We have 30 seconds left in this break. So what are we talking about?
So I think we're talking about food for families.
Okay.
Right? The program we're running.
Yep.
You're in next week, right? This is a partnership with Tampa Bay 28, Winn-Dixie, a few others, bringing awareness to and resources to the folks in our community who are struggling, you know, to pay bills, gas prices, food prices, all that.
All right. Good enough.
And we'll probably tease, again, you're going to be on campus next week, doing your show's going to be live there. And then, of course, you're going to come and be a guest at our...
Back in 3, 2... How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. It's always interesting, the dynamics of the show, because we are always on. Like, if you're watching on the spot, and I'm looking over there, and we are on TV, I went and turned the TV on just to make sure it was working, because you never know. But we're talking on TV, but at the same time, during the commercial breaks, we just kind of chat, and we have our interaction, and we always suggest this. So if you are watching on TV, to get the full experience of Dennis Phillips Live, log into Facebook. You can answer your questions. Everybody's welcoming. You've been on the show, what,
Couple times,
yeah. And
the highlight of my career so far.
well, let me tell you. So right back at you, because the first podcast I'd ever done in my life was your podcast.
Yeah.
And it was now I'm used to just like, this is really not a lot going on here. It's just kind of me hitting some buttons. You guys have you have your own room with all these mics and everything, and it's pretty cool.
It was one of our most appreciated and enjoyed and listened to episodes. I think, you know, one of the things we always love about folks like you is that you really love and care about your craft. One of the things that always comes through in a conversation with you is how much you know, how much you care, how important it is to you. I think having a guest like that is always exciting, because it's not just the content, it's the character, right?
Well, and
we had some great discussion.
I was going to say, it was just a fun discussion, and I had never done it, and I didn't know what to expect. And I mean, the folks who work with you were, well, you know, Shannon, and it was just, it was an amazing time. And I think I remember reading somewhere like y'all are trying to get someone else from the station to jump in and do another one too.
Yeah.
So now that's a tough act to follow. I'm not going to lie, but
they won't live up to you.
so let's get into a little bit about why you're here tonight. Folks who are watching on streaming, they know, but folks who are on TV. So tell us a little about what's
So one of the great things that Tampa Bay 28 does for us every year is a Food for Families program, right? It's really designed to bring awareness to friends and neighbors who are struggling. I just filled up my truck on my way here. Everybody knows what gas costs. We hope that's temporary, but food prices have been higher. Folks are really struggling. And so Food for Families is a way for us to ask all of your viewers, everybody that's a part of your world, to say, hey, Can you help us make sure that neighbors who are struggling right now have some of the resources that they need? So there's different ways to do that. You can get involved with us directly through our website, but you can go to Winn-Dixie and you can do a roundup program. We have a couple of other specialty programs with Vigo for some of the products that you buy there. Duke Energy Foundation is supporting us against Tampa Bay 28. But everything that folks will do that comes through this opportunity will end up on the table of a neighbor, and that's important.
And I think, you know, as I'm listening to you saying, like right now, I think a lot of folks, we think about the holidays when we think about, oh, we need to help our friends and our neighbors for Thanksgiving and for Christmas and whatnot. And I think sometimes you forget it's an all-year thing. Yeah,
I think, you know, one of the things that's great about the fall season, it is a place for people to reconnect with some of the values that matter to them. And that's always good, right? Folks are reminded of their good fortune in the fall, often around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so they're inclined to volunteer. But the number of folks needing our help doesn't change in January. Right, it's still the same number of folks. That's why the Food for Families program is so important, and we're so pleased that you all do this time of year. It allows us to have the conversation again to remind people that, hey, coworkers, colleagues, neighbors, teachers, right now we're taking care of all of the TSA people who are not being paid. They're all coming to us for food. We're making sure they have food and resources, right? All of that, right? We're making sure that during these times where folks are in a difficult spot, it's always our hope to step in. And when it works best, it's because folks like, you know, DPL Live and Tampa Bay 28 say, hey, we're willing to help.
And it also boils down to volunteers.
Yep.
You know, and our Jason Adams
has been a huge volunteer. I keep seeing all his posts. It's really, I don't know whether you coached him in there, but he has been putting in some serious hours.
So
it's really been nice to see because he also carries an audience. That's one of the great things about you. Your reach is great. And so it allows us to have a conversation with far more people than we'd be able to on our own.
So get a little more into detail over next week, what it is that we're going to be doing. And
so you're going to be, DPL Live is going to be on our campus over at Causeway, the Causeway Center on Causeway Boulevard. And so you're going to do your show live from there. I think I get to be on with you. They all know I'm a fanboy, but they are going to have a few others.
That's a great building, by the way. I mean, that building
folks will get to see a little bit of it.
It's amazing. And it is Cat 5.
We are. Right? We are. As you know, we have a disaster convening of some 200 folks coming together to prepare for hurricane season. You're going to come speak. You and I are going to do a little shtick together.
Yeah, when is that again?
April 22nd. It's on your calendar.
I gotta write that stuff down. So Jocelyn, my handler / producer, every day she's like, Dennis, do you know what you're doing? I'm not organized like you. I'm just not. I try to keep it all in my head. That's why I just a little reminder. So what day? 22nd. Okay, I got it. So I will be there, and I look forward to it because again, I say this in all sincerity. We have had the privilege of working with y'all for a while now, and it is such a community-based group, and I guess remind folks how they can get involved as well.
Yeah, and so, you know, you use the proper phrase. We are a community-based group. One of the questions I get most often is, does the government fund you? And the answer is no. We're completely funded by neighbors, friends that say, hey, this cause matters to me, right? I'm willing to help. And so oftentimes, you mentioned this before, someone's entry point is the gift of their time. We have 5,000 to 6,000 volunteers we need every single week. So there's a way to connect it, and kids can come along, which is good. It becomes a family opportunity. But also, a program like Food for Families is really designed to say, hey, can you also figure out a way to help support more of our neighbors through funds? And so you can go to our website, feedingtampabay.org. Again, if you're going to Winn-Dixie, who's a partner in this, you can round up. Those funds will come directly to us. If you buy the Vigo products, they'll be making a gift to us as well. And so it's an opportunity for us to hopefully just develop a bit more money that we can put directly back into the community.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to hit a break. We'll be back in 90 seconds. We'll talk a little bit more, and I do want to take a live look at radar as well, since there are some showers and storms out there. 90 seconds back with Dennis Phillips Live.
You didn't say anything about our strong hoodie game.
You've got, that's like, what's that fabric called?
I don't know what it is.
No, I saw the hoodie, but I'm thinking, what is that? It's called we sell that material with Roller 7 on it too. It's called, I'm gonna have to go on the site and look at it. But that
like rayon or nylon or?
No, it's called like a rash guard.
Oh, performance fabric of some sort?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and I noticed it, but I didn't know if you wanted me to mention it or not.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, I figured you would have your hoodie on, so I brought my hoodie. For all the folks on the internet, I hope that you like the hoodie game that we brought tonight.
Can people?
You can, yes. If folks want to know how to get one of these nice hoodies, I'll make sure that happens.
Okay.
So my address is on the website. You can literally get my email address, email me, and I'll make sure you get hooked up.
All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at radar. How much time we got on that clock right there? 34
seconds.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, break is 32.
32. All right, go back and take radar again. All right, there we go. Yeah, I do want to take a quick look at radar on here. I'll come back out. We'll come back on the. Anybody any hoodie game? Eric's like, yeah, I love the hoodie game. Hoodie game is on point, says Anna Maria. All right. TV peeps need to join. You're right. The TV. We love our TV. Oops, are we? 9 seconds. We love our TV peeps, but this is like the 2. Giving me the countdown. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. Thomas Mans from Feeding Tampa Bay. Hey, let's go ahead and take a quick look at radar. I do want to mention it. We are still looking at some more showers out there and even a couple of thunderstorms. So there they are. And briefly, we did have one right there on the bridge. It looked like it was on the Howard Franklin. Yep. And it still is on the Howard Franklin. A little bit of rain right there. And over the last 15 minutes, hasn't moved too much. Here, go ahead and put it in motion for you so you can see it. There it is. A little bit of a westward drift, a little west-southwest drift on it. And a few more showers right along the Pinellas County coastline. So right there, just north of St. Pete, Pinellas Park area. And then still the heaviest rain down around Manatee County, down through DeSoto County. And someone had just mentioned they hope they got some rain in Wauchula. Yeah, I think that rain is passed you by now. There's some heavy rain southwest of you, but not so much in that immediate area. And again, there's a live look right there. All continues to move south. And the big change will be, we're going to be up near 90 degrees tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, on Friday and into Saturday. And then that cool front comes in early on Sunday with a little bit of a break in the heat from about 90 to 81 by Sunday and into Monday. So again, if you are watching on TV, you can follow along on social, ask your questions. Talking a little bit more about the upcoming months, as we go into spring and we go into the summer, do you gain volunteers? Do you need more volunteers? I mean, how does it seasonally change? I
thought you were going to ask a slightly different question. I'll answer that one first.
Okay.
What really happens over the summer, that's where kids start to struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because when kids get out of school, a lot of children are fed during the school year at school, usually breakfast, lunch, snack. So the pressure on our organization becomes much greater for kids. Right now, there's especially greater pressure on seniors. One of the things that happens to a senior when there are price squeezes, they don't have any more income than they had the day before, but their expenses have gone up 20 or 30%. So we've got programs that we're focusing on for seniors and kids in particular, as I mentioned before, taking care of our air traffic control, our TSA folks. But the answer to your question is, the good news is we get a lot more kids that come in and volunteer over the summer, which is great. It becomes a family activity, which is great. So we have more folks that take some of their, it's interesting, I think, being a part of this. One of the things I always observe about the job that I do is we often see people who are at their worst. They're having a really difficult time and they're struggling, and that just tears your heart up. But the same day, you see the kindness and generosity of others, right? It's a unique position to sit in the middle of those, to try and make sure that someone that's struggling gets what they need, but also to have someone come along and say, hey, we can help.
Yeah.
And volunteers and donors, that's our world every day.
And I'm going to ask you kind of a tough question on this, because this is something I always wonder about. At what point are people able to ask for help? Because I know with many people, I'm sure it's a pride thing.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if you've never had to do so before.
Yeah.
How do you go about going to that next step?
I think if I could dispel any thought that, and I get asked this question every single time someone comes and does a tour or has a visitor, I have a conversation with them. I have yet to meet someone that didn't belong in our lines. People are having a really difficult time, and it's hard to swallow your pride and say, all of what I thought I had, all of what I thought I would do, all the resources, it just didn't work. And I can't make it, and I can't feed my kids. I can't take care of my family. No matter what you think, that is a really awful moment for someone to go through. What we want to make sure, and you just asked this, how can folks find resources? So whoever watching today or on the internet, feedingtampabay.org, there's a big button right on the top, how can I get help? and then you can look at your zip code, your area, and find resources that are nearby to you. We cover a 10-county area, so it's a big footprint, basically your viewing area. And so we have resources all over those 10 counties that people can connect into. And I would encourage you to please come see us and our partners and get the resources that you need. Because we want to just start with the meal, make sure you have food, but we also have connections to job training programs. We have a medical clinic on campus now here, and we have access to legal services, other healthcare services, county services. All those are available. We can hook you up and connect you as well.
And there are so many different situations that happen in life.
Everybody's story is unique.
You know, whether it was the hurricanes, which I'm sure there were people that needed help and never anticipated because they didn't expect they'd lose their home in a hurricane.
They did, and you know what happens in a hurricane situation is those are folks that would never have anticipated, as you just said, ending up in our care. And so we have specialized programs we run before, during, and after hurricanes to make sure that we're helping folks do that. The gathering you're going to come to is us making sure the community is prepared to respond. I did hear you say maybe this year's a lower year. That's great if that's what happens. But no matter what, we need to be prepared because you and I can go into a local grocery store and stock up ahead of time. I'm sure that's what you talk about already.
Sure.
Right? But if you don't have the funds to do that, you can't.
Right.
We make sure that can happen for families to be prepared to weather storms and afterward make sure that they can recover from storms.
Awesome. Thomas, thank you
It's
so
always
much for
good to
coming
see
on.
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
April 22nd, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And next week.
And next week we'll be live. We will be back in 90 seconds with our last segment of Dennis Phillips Live.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, we're good. Oh,
I really
coming out.
appreciate the
That's-
opportunity to have a conversation.
no, it's always so.
So on the 22nd, you're going to do a bit of a pitch, you know, kind of you're talking about, I think, you know, part of it would be like, what's the hurricane season look like? And then you and I are going to try and recreate a little bit of our podcast.
Oh.
So I'm going to come up on stage and I'll join you and we'll have a little Q&A. Talk
be
about,
fun.
yeah, so part of it will be about the structure of hurricane season, all that stuff you would normally talk about, preparedness, what you think the season looks like. But then you and I are going to talk a little bit about your career and the weather and, you know, some of the things that we enjoyed personally, which will, I think, would be a great opportunity because people will be interested in
How
that.
long you want me to go on the first part?
I think we're trying to do like 20 minutes or something like that. You have like a 40 or 45 minute time slot.
Okay. I think I can fill that. I've been known
You
to
can.
talk.
You and me both.
So, all right. Here we go. Denise, Thomas is such a wonderful spokesperson. He always speaks from the heart in such
Thank you.
such a caring, honest way. So
Thank
there
you.
you go.
Thank you, everybody online. I will see you. You have 28 seconds. I will see you next Wednesday.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
I sure hope.
All right, guys, we have 2 minutes left. It flies, doesn't it? Man, this show flies. All right, I'd like to give one more quick look at radar, just since there's still some rain out there. All right, there we go. All right, back in 5, 4, 3, 2. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. Again, thank you very much to Thomas Mance from Feeding Tampa Bay, CEO. And we just had a comment on social, and I want to repeat it because it's from Denise. Thomas is such a wonderful spokesperson. He always speaks from the heart in such a caring, honest way, and 100% agree with that. And I will tell you, the volunteers at Feeding Tampa Bay, they care about the community. It is the community, you know, and that's the thing. We all go through rough times, and there are times where you need to lean on some folks, and that's why they are here. And again, as Thomas said, I will be there next Wednesday, and then apparently I'm speaking on the 22nd. I got to write that down on my calendar, but we are good. So, so Rochelle, I did talk about the hurricane predictions. We have a minute 20 left. I'm going to quickly look at radar. And here, I'll show you this real quick. And yeah, AccuWeather came out with their hurricane predictions. What they went with was the Gulf Coast is in a higher area of risk due to an El Nino. So there's the rain that's going on right now, moving south. Manatee, Sarasota County. Hey, some jackpots, some decent rain in some of these spots. But I was telling you, my buddy Mike Boylan from Mike's Weather Page, he texted me and showed me their forecast. And yeah, I mean, AccuWeather is saying that in an El Nino, it is very common with the very warm water in the Gulf that early on in the season, you could see a tropical system or a hurricane. Typically later in the season, things get a little quieter. When an El Nino kicks in, August, September, and October, and that is the forecast. So we'll see how it plays out. So tomorrow night, I will be live at Thunder Alley. All right, the Bolts are taking on, I don't know who they're taking on, but we will not be on the spot tomorrow night. We will be live on streaming. So, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. Have a great night. Okay, we are out on TV. Can someone fix the closed captioning? I don't know what's going on. Is it closed captioning on TV or is it closed captioning on Facebook? Because I don't know. Let me look on Restream and see if I've got anything in here. No, I don't think I've got any control over closed captioning there. Hey, Derek, so someone's asking about closed captioning. Can someone fix the closed captioning? If closed captioning on socials is your own settings, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it is, Denise. I think that settings might be your own personal settings because I think you can turn it on and turn it off yourself. In fact, I know you can because I've done that. So I don't have any control over that. And Linda says it looks fine. So yeah, I think it's probably maybe settings that you have on your own. Yeah, let's go and look at the 7-day real quick. How would I tell you guys? So, yeah, there is captioning on there, Eric. You can get captioning. I don't remember how to do it, but I have seen it. And it says captions are back now on Facebook. Oh, no, weird. Anyway, there's 7-day, 83 tomorrow, and a couple of inland showers. 85 Friday, up near 90 on Saturday. Cold front comes in on Sunday. And I didn't really get a chance to show you this, so we'll go ahead and show it to you anyway. Here you go. So here's the long range, and I know Sean was like, where's the 540 line? So there's Thursday, there's Friday, there's the GFS. Saturday, weak front comes through Saturday night into Sunday. Not much to it. There's Monday. It kind of lingers, and then that ridge builds in. You can see it off to the east. See that? See the ridge? Here, let me see it coming in from here. Zoop, zoop. High center's right there. So you got that ridge pushing with an easterly flow. So that means pretty good chance we're going to see at least a few showers from the east coast try to work west. If it were summer, it would be more pronounced. There's not as much moisture this time of the year. Next Friday, next Saturday, next weekend, GFS actually brings a little low pressure in the Gulf. Look at that. And you know what? I was going to show you something. So this is like 10 days out. There's the GFS, there's the Euro. Look at that. 10 days out. The models are pretty darn close. As the Euro brings a front through, not a cold front, but with some rain, and so does the GFS, maybe a day faster. So that is something that we will look forward to. Eric says, just found it. Never mess with these settings. So yeah, Eric did find the Facebook closed captions. I know they're there because I've seen them before myself. All right, guys, so that is about it. We'll be back tomorrow night live from Thunder Alley. Friday, we're going to make an attempt, mind you, to go live from the Sugar Sand Festival in Clearwater. But there will be no one backing me up here. So if it goes off the rails, I have no idea what will happen. But I'm going to be live, allegedly, supposedly, God willingly, from the Sugar Sand Festival in Clearwater on Friday night. So come on out and say hi, or come on out tomorrow and say hi. And at Thunder Alley, we'll be live there when the Bolts are taking on whoever the Bolts are playing. All right, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. You guys have a good night. See ya.